Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI live noding. This is gonna be a quick live noding. Basically, it's gonna be a breakdown of the setup that I made. It was the idea is came from this question that I was asked. If I want to, let's say, if you have this kind of like a bricks arrangement, if we want to tell Blender to kind of lift up some part of it. Okay, lift up the bricks one by one, and we want to have some kind of control over it. How do we do that? So this is the setup I made. Currently, you see it's it's real time, it's doing the job, and if I actually play back while doing this will actually lift up some of the bricks, and then the bricks will stay up there. So you might be guessing that, oh, okay, you are using the Blender Dynamic Paint, and yeah, that's actually right. I'm using Blender Dynamic Paint together with Sphere Chalk and Blender Modifier and then animation nodes. If you watch all my live noding videos, I actually did this kind of effects a couple of times. The idea is definitely really simple. Basically, the dynamic paint brush and the canvas here. The canvas is actually a bunch of points. They kind of work together. The brush will pass the weighting, some kind of weighting, into the canvas, which is currently it's actually a point. If I can show you the points, that's the points. So if I move this brush into the other layer and then show it to you, you see as the brush is passing the canvas will kind of moves and being displayed. So that's the whole idea. I like doing this because it's really fast and interactive. I have not figured out another way to do this that's actually this interactive. Yeah, anyway, the point itself is actually from Sphere Chalk. The setup looks like this. It's fairly simple. So I have, let's say we have like 100 bricks, right? Like a structure, and we want to animate those 100 bricks. We don't want to animate it one by one, so I represent each brick as a single point, and I'm using Sphere Chalk to do that. Just get all those objects and then turn it into a points. Just get about the center point using the bounding box and then output it, so it becomes a single object like this. Once you have this canvas, you can basically just create this, the dynamic setup. Set it as a dynamic paint canvas, and then displace it if it's receiving weighting from the brush. It's really that simple. And once you have that, you have this kind of effects. The points being displaced and the points that's in the original position, and then so if you switch to animation nodes, you can use that the differences between the original positions and then the displaced positions, and then you get the distance out of it. And by using the distance, you can simply animate your object. So the object should be, you can think of it in the original positions, and then the objects in the position somewhere else, like up above, if you want it. So yeah, it's that simple. And then once you have that set up, of course you can you get this effect. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it from scratch because this might take too long time. Currently I'm doing a rendering in the background and another rendering, so I have 3 Blender running. So it might be a little bit slow if I want to do this. If I'm not wrong, I have another setup like this using the skeleton. Let's see, box shifting, double bonds, skeleton separate. I think it's skeleton all separate. I think that's the one. Or I have it in my Twitter somewhere. I have Firefox running, but I think Firefox is maybe kind of frozen at the moment. Okay, this is the skeleton. What do I have here? Is it animating? Oh yeah, I remember this. This one is actually animating as well. It's using the same techniques. So with dynamic paint and a brush, if I show you the secret how I made this, so this is the brush, and remember for each part of the skeleton bones, I have I made it up so if this brush ever come near the bones, near the points, it will break like that. And you can break it from any directions. Let's say from the head down, or you can break it from down to the top. Yeah, the effect is quite nice, and it's procedural. It's not using particles and believe it or not, this is actually super easy to set up. It's really easy, and so I have these animations already. Just I motion capture I'm moving the box and then just breaking the skeleton like that. I guess you could use this technique for a lot of other visual effects. I don't know, maybe kind of a Lego-ish kind of effect. And I make it so the dynamic paint will kind of go back to the original default over time. So once it's getting broken, like all the points being pushed and then it's all come back to original position, it's always kind of a neat kind of effects to show like a progress like this. Yeah, so back to original. Yeah, it's looking quite nice. So I'll show you the points. So this is the points really for each part of the skeleton. It's being represented as a single points, and then as the points being pushed by dynamic paint, everything is also being pushed. It's as if the points is actually, it's as if the like each part is being parented to the points basically. Normally you want to do this using particles. Of course, particle is good for this, and I remember doing similar effects in Houdini. Particles, of course, it's really powerful, and sometimes you really just want to parent objects to particles, you know, just like this, and then but the interactions, the interaction that you want between the artist and the tools here, I think using dynamic paint is really quite nice. It's all interactive. My computer is slow, so that's why it's really slow, but you see, if I make the box smaller, this is the brush, I can kind of paint over the skeleton a little bit by a little bit, you know, and you know, get more interesting details. And believe it or not, you can have two of these box. It's really that interactive. I can have three more. See the effects. It's nice. It's happening. I don't know. I think this kind of setup should be simpler and turned into a node somehow. Currently, it's relying on Blender Displacement. It's relying on Blender Dynamic Paint. I don't mind the Dynamic Paint, but let's see. The Dynamic Paint itself can actually pass in the weighting. So Spectral can read the weighting actually. Let me think. Maybe I don't actually need to use the displacement map. It's just I can just use the weighting and then as the weighting gets passed from the brush into the canvas of dynamic paints, we can then do something about it. Yeah, I almost forgot that we can do that. Anyhow, that's a quick demo. It's a quick breakdown of this weird setup. Yeah, I call it like a. Some people call it's like multiple displacement, or this is more like transferring. Kind of, we want to give a control over the drivers, like a multiple triggering effect. That's the term I was looking. So multiple triggering effect. I think for different reason, just to displace all these objects. Yeah, okay. So if you have any question, you can leave it down below in the comments. Let me know if you have also feedbacks.